Hello guys, welcome back to well control IWCF level 3 and level 4 again. In previous clip, we have already explained SCR, the fundamental basis and the correct way to take SCR for surface BOP. In this very session, we'll quickly wrap up the methods to measure the choke line friction loss for subsea BOP. So this is your semi-sub rig with BOP sitting right on the seabed, the choke line and kill line here, choke line red line and kill line the purple line. They run all the way from the BOP up to the surface manifold. We're going to quickly go over 4 different methods to measure the choke line friction loss. Again, the name itself is self-explicit. It's the friction back pressure when fluid travels up along the choke line through the full open choke. Let's get to the first method of measuring the choke line friction loss. Method number 1 is to pump down the drill string, take the return up the riser, and with that way you will have the record of SCR up the riser, note it down. Then you close the BOP, alright? And then with the BOP closed, you pump down the string and take the return up the choke line through the full open choke. You have the gauge, drill pipe pressure gauge there. Take the value down, take note of it. Now you have 2 values. Subtract them from each other, you have the choke line friction loss. Alright, so this way you will have the SCR up the riser and the SCR up the choke line. You minus them, you have the choke line friction loss. Method number 2, you close the BOP, you pump down the drill string, take the return up the choke line. On the Q line side, you open the fail-safe valve. The Q line gauge will show the value, so that's the choke line friction loss. And method number 3, you pump down, you shut the BOP in, you pump down the Q line, take the return up the choke line. Right, the pressure gauge on the Q line showing the value. Take that value divided by half, that's the choke line friction loss. And method number 4, you pump down the choke and take the return up the riser. Right, the pressure gauge on the choke line showing the value of the choke line friction. Now remember, in your Q sheet, you have the initial circulating pressure. That's the sum of shut-in drill pipe pressure and the dynamic pressure. That dynamic pressure is the riser SCR. And on your FCB, the final circulating pressure, you have the Q midway divided by present midway and times dynamic pressure loss, which is the SCR up the riser. So therefore, method number 1, you pump down the drill string, take the return up the riser, record the SCR up the riser. And then you shut the BOP, you pump down the drill string, take the return up the choke line, you have the record, second record, drill pipe pressure gauge. Okay, deduct them together, you have the choke line friction loss. And you also have the SCR of the riser. So that's why this is the preferred method. Hope this one helps you for your exam. Cheers.